Hey friends, good evening. I just want to welcome you to a really special night. This kind of was one of those spur of the moment things that we whipped together real quick because we just had our spring rally. And for those of you that have been around Young Living for a little bit, you know that we do these quarterly rallies 4 times a year. Well, actually, I think this year it's going to be, I don't know what they're doing. Anyway, they do it every few months. And during this spring launch, they did some massive recognition of really, really high achievers in the company that had earned both the level up and the double up promotions. And if you're on this Zoom tonight and you're like, oh, Skyla, I don't remember what those are, I don't want you to worry, because we're going to explain that as the evening unfolds. But as I was looking through all of the names, one name jumped out at me in particular, and I went, oh my gosh, I know her. That's Aubrey. She's on Bobby's team, who is under Sonia. What a crazy, awesome rock star. And so my immediate thought was like, dude, we got to message her and see if she'll talk to the whole team and share the wonders of her ways, because my name was not on that list. And so even though I've been around for a while, you better believe that I'm all ears, because I'm committed to this thing for life. And I just want to keep learning and growing. And if there is something that I can do better in my own presentation or one-on-ones that will help encourage people to shorten that learning curve and get on Essential Rewards as soon as they enroll, then I definitely want to learn that. So the good news for you all tonight is that I'm not going to hardly do any talking, and we're going to let Aubrey do all the talking. And when we are done, we will hopefully have a little bit of time for Q&A if you guys have specific questions. So here's what I encourage you to do. Grab your favorite oil. I just saw Aubrey take a nice deep breath. You know what mine is. My liquid life fertilizer, I like to call it. Abundance. It makes everything grow a little better. Okay. Get your, what have you got, Aubrey?
Awaken. I'm obsessed.
You bet, baby. So get whatever oil, and I'm not kidding. If you have to get out of your comfy chair for a minute to get your oil, it's going to be worth it. Because remember this, you guys, our brains connect thoughts to our smell, right? To that whole olfactory sense. And so I'm smelling in abundance right now because I want the words that Aubrey is going to be sharing to rest upon me in an abundant way. And I want to connect that with this aroma so that when I get out my abundance tomorrow, I will remember everything she said. Okay? So it matters, right? All right, ladies and gentlemen, drum roll, please. I am so happy to introduce you to Aubrey Rossmanith, and if I mispronounced Rossmanith, I'm not really sure where the emphasis goes.
Rossmanith. Manith.
Manith.
Yeah, Rossmanith. Yep.
Rossmanith. I got it. I love that name. And I can spell it accurately, which is very important.
My maiden name was way easier.
What was it?
Turkey.
There you go. Perfect. So what is so fantastic is that Aubrey is not brand spanking new to Young Living. So you know how some people are kind of like, oh, well, she's working her warm market, right? This girl is legit, and she is just, I think she's just priming the pump. She is hitting her stride. But Aubrey is a silver, but I think she's way closer to the gold side than she is to the executive side. So if you look at that little needle, we're just about ready to launch into a new era. So Aubrey, I just have a couple of questions for you, and you can answer them in whatever order that you want to, but I would love for you to tell us a little bit about who Aubrey is and I would love for you to share your Young Living story, kind of how you got introduced. And for me personally, I don't know about the rest of you guys, but one of the things that I love to hear is, when did that light bulb come on that you saw your favorite products could also be a source of income? So when did you kind of see the business? And then, of course, the moment that we're all anxiously awaiting for, what in the world is going on that your name was on that list for Level Up and Double Up? We just want you to pour out all the goodness on us, okay?
Okay, I'll try to remember all that. Okay, so obviously my name is Aubrey. I live in Jefferson, Iowa, so a really small town. I am married and we have two little ones. We have a 6-year-old son and then a 3-year-old little girl. And I signed up it was March 4th, 2013. It was 2 days after my birthday and I was pregnant with my first child. And so I will always remember that because it was my birthday present to myself. And I'm a cosmetologist by trade. I have an in-home salon. And so right now I'm real thankful for my in-living check because all salons are shut down. So I would be hurting really bad if it was not for this. Let's see. We love to be outside. We love people. Like, we are definitely extroverts, my whole family. Yeah, so I started Young Living because when I was pregnant, okay, this is not going to be compliant, but I had really bad heartburn. And somebody offered me a drop, well, Nancy offered me a drop of peppermint, and it was gone instantly. And I was just like, wait, what? Like, that can't work that quick. So I instantly started researching. I love to budget. I hate spending a lot of money. And so I started to research different companies and quickly learned that Young Living would be the only brand I would use on my baby. And that was, 7 years ago, best decision I've ever made. I slowly started sharing just unintentionally. It was not on purpose. One of my first signups was in the first few months of my journey. But I just kind of was like, well, if I can get my $50 order covered, we'll be good. And because like I said, I don't like to spend money. So I was like, well, if we can just make it a wash, then I'm good. And then she was kind of like a little go-getter, Jen, and she was kind of doing the business. So I was kind of doing it with her, but she was way more spitfire than I was because I was about to have my first baby. And I was so excited to be a mom that I don't regret taking that time, but I definitely, now that I look back, I definitely use that as an excuse to not build. And but I was just like, no, I love doing hair. I've wanted to do hair my entire life. And so I was like, no, I don't need to do another business. I'm good at this. I love being in the salon. It's fine. And it was about a year and a half ago, October, I made the decision that I was going to do this full time. And it was just kind of I started listening to Bobby's Diamond Bound recordings just because I love to listen to podcasts when I'm cleaning or when I'm doing dishes or anything like that. I always have a podcast going. So I started listening to her Diamond Bound ones, and that definitely was my light bulb. And I honestly just took off. It was just like, okay. But I'm very red. So if you watched the rally, I kind of told you that. Once I put my mind to something, I just do it. All of my upline joke with me that as soon as I say something, they know it's going to happen because I'm just that person. And so, yeah, I decided it was October of 2018 that I was going to be a diamond, and it's going to happen. Okay, did I answer all your questions? I can't hear you. Did I answer?
You did great. Yes, you did absolutely great. And you guys, if you have other questions that you're curious about, just keep using the chat box for now, and then we can go back and grab those later. But yeah, I think that gives us a really good background of kind of where you came from. One of the things that I heard was your desire to run your own salon, which tells me that you've always kind of had this inner drive. And I think that that is such an important quality to bring with you to this business, because you may have a little bit of competitive spirit, you know, in a healthy way. A little
It
bit
might not be. I'm so competitive. It's bad. I try so hard not to be, but it just comes out.
But it's there. I love it. So yeah, so tell us what, you know, maybe you can give everybody a little background on what Level Up and Double Up is.
Okay,
And,
so, oh, go ahead.
No, and I was just going to say, and then how you know, kind of what your technique is that helps people see the value in Essential Rewards so early on.
Okay, so I will actually back up to Help 5 when that was around. That was actually what really like resonated with me. Help 5 was you had to get 5 points a month, so I'm very competitive and I love prizes. So if I can get a prize, I'm going to try really hard for it. And they were doing, if you could earn 5 points, you got the Help 5 promo. And so you got a point for somebody enrolling, you got a point for somebody joining Essential Rewards with a 100 PV order. And then, so you just had to get 5 points in those categories. So, and then one of the Zooms that I watched, they said the fastest growing teams, like when they looked back through all of the diamonds, all of the Royal Crown diamonds, they said that the fastest growing teams were consistently enrolling 5 people or achieving 5 points every single month. And so I was like, that's so easy. Like, I can do that. And so I just started sharing with 2 people a month. And with Essential Rewards, for me, in the beginning, like, I don't think we were taught, like, sign people up on Essential Rewards, like, you do that later, like, don't even bring it up. And when that came along, I was like, hey, like, if I can get 2 points per person, I'm going to do that. And so I just kind of started telling people it was a no-brainer. And I kind of, this sounds really bad, but I almost don't even give people the option to not, unless they're like, oh, do I have to do that? But I would say about 90, maybe even 95% of all of my enrollments in the last year and a half have always joined Essential Rewards right away. And I just kind of put it out, like, I'm big on words and like how you say stuff. And so when people ask me how much the kit is, I'm like, oh, it's only $165, but you get over $400 worth of stuff. And I'm like, and if you put it on Essential Rewards, you get another free oil and you get $10 back in points. And then next month, you're already going to get an additional 5 points. And then in 3 months, like, or in month 4, that doubles. And I'm like, I don't have another store that gives me 24% off and then 25% back. I'm like, I mean, tell me another store and I'll start shopping there. And so when I put it that way, they're all like, yeah, sure, that's fine. And then I am really big on creating a custom wellness plan with them. And so if I'm signing them up like through my link, I'm always just like, just go ahead and click the Thieves Essential Rewards kit, and then I will call you before your next month's order and we'll really talk about like what your setup is. Because I think when they're doing it themselves, it can be very confusing to customize their first month on Essential Rewards. And so when they do it that way, and then I'm always very like, we'll talk, like we will, like I will, then I feel like it creates that trust. And I always tell people, I will never let you waste your money. So that's how I started with Help 5. And so then they changed it to Level Up, and Level Up makes it easier because you only have to do 2. So Level Up is you have to have 2 people enroll in Essential Rewards. And then if you double up, that's 4. And I think the very first one of the double ups was Rose. And I had just won a bottle of Rose from the Dream 1000. And so I was like, I need another bottle of that. And so I instantly wanted to get that one. And so then I'm like, okay, this is just help 5, except I only have to do 4, and that's even easier. And so I just set my mind to, I want to help. I still tell myself, I need to help 5 people. I need to help 5 people. And honestly, in the beginning, I've lost a lot of like my very first enrollments because I did classes, but I was terrible at follow-up. Because I was the person, even though I'm very extroverted, I was like, they don't want me to bother them. They don't know me. Like, I don't have a relationship with them. So why would they want me to sell them something? Well, now I am very, very, very big on communication and building relationships and genuine relationships. Like, people can see through that real quick if you're only talking to them for a sale. And so for me, I always like, I'm a big in-person. So even if I can't see them, I try to FaceTime them because 1, I want them to see me. And 2, I'm very active in my Facebook group. And so I don't really build on social media, but I build my relationships on social media. So I don't start that way. I don't sign up a bunch of people on social media. Those are usually through classes. But then as soon as they join my team, I make them real welcome. So I'm big, big, big on that. So that's what Level Up and Devel Up is. And still with my Essential Rewards, I really basically put it as, it's a no-brainer. You can cancel anytime. I always tell them that because you can, because it's really not about the kit. I've literally told people, if you're just going to buy this kit to go put it on a shelf to support me, don't buy it. Don't waste your money. Don't do it. I'm like, if you're really wanting to change your wellness, which I'm big on toxins, and so I'm like, if you're really wanting to get toxins out of your home, then let's do this. But don't do it just to support me because I'm not doing it for the money. And I think that also like really gets people to trust me. So, okay, I think that's it.
That is so amazing. And I'm sitting here like, yes, 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 to the part about please do not get a kit from me if all you want to do is, you know, shut me up or
Right.
or try to help me out. You're not going to do me any favors at all if you're a kidnapper and you buy one and you stick it up in the top of that closet. That doesn't do either one of us any good. And in fact,
Right.
it wastes precious oils that I don't
Yes.
want to see gathering dust. So
Yes.
I think it takes a certain level of confidence to be able to get to that point where you can actually hold your head up high and literally turn someone away. Like, I don't think you're a good candidate for this. But really that's posturing. And I do feel like when you can get to that point, it shows that you are not desperately seeking anybody. You're really looking for the right person that is a good fit for what you're offering. And that's just beautiful.
I will say too, I know you mentioned a warm market in the beginning. I am not that lucky person that signed up their whole family. I have 4 brothers, so I have a big family. And I actually just signed up my first brother a few months ago. And my parents are not enrolled. All of my grandparents are passed, so I don't have that. And most of my like immediate friend group all think I'm nuts. So I do not have a good warm market at all. But I also don't press it. Like I definitely like joke with them. Like we were all FaceTime and it's my mom's birthday today. And so all 4 of my brothers, we are all over the world, or not the world, United States. So we all like FaceTimed at the same time to surprise my mom. And we are very competitive, like a jab type of family. And so we're always like throwing jabs at each other. Well, my brother's just about to turn 30, my just younger brother. And so they're all like, oh, he's getting gray hair. And my oldest brother was like, we're all looking old. Wait, maybe except for Aubrey. She's not. And I'm like, yeah, it's all those great oils I put on my face. You know, the ones that you guys don't use? Like, so, so I get them. They're starting to ask questions. They don't think I'm as crazy anymore. So I keep telling them one day, but I don't ever like force it. So I will say that, like, don't use your warm market as an excuse, because most of my people on my team are way out of my warm market. Now I will say I am really good friends with a lot of my team now, but they did not start that way. Like Jen Lensing, I know she's on here. I used to cut her hair, but we really like never were that close until Young Living, and now she is one of my best friends. So
I love that.
yes.
So, okay, if you did not come in with a big warm market, I know that there's got to be a few people on here that are wondering, so where are you meeting people? What is your favorite way to connect?
So I am a big extrovert, so I love to be out in the community. I am a cosmetologist, and so I have enrolled a lot of my clients. And so I don't know if you would consider that warm or cold, but I use oils constantly. And so now that my salon is in my home, that's even easier because I got Young Living everywhere. And so, but I used to work at an Aveda salon. And so I feel like I got the foot in the door with like some natural people. And they of course had their brand of oils. So I, when people would ask me about it, I'd be like, well, actually these are what I use. So that started my sharing. And I just started doing classes, like, hey, I'll do a class if you invite people. I'm not shy at all, like don't have a shy bone in my body. And so I can talk to anybody at any time. And so if I have anybody even semi-interested in a class, I'm like, sure, you invite your friends, I'll do all the work. So yes.
That's awesome.
I'm in a tiny town with 2 golds, so my 2 uplines are both golds. So it's not like I had a lot of people from our town either. So
I love it. Okay, we have a question coming in privately to me. And this one says, how do you get your team so fired up because they seem to be growing with you? So what is it that is happening in your organization that's kind of helping move everybody forward together?
So I basically bring up the business right away, because most of the time when you get to that commission processing part of enrollment, I always have people like, oh, what should I do here? I'm like, well, go ahead and put your social security number in, because if you decide that you want to like share with your mom or share with your sister, like you're going to get a check for $50, and it's just way easier to have it in there now. And they're always like, I get $50. I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh, okay. And I'm like, yeah. And if they do Essential Rewards, you get an additional 15. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, it's really not that hard. And they're like, oh, okay, I'll do that. So I just kind of bring it up that way. And I try to keep it really simple, because I try to encourage people to do 100 PV orders on Essential Rewards, just so they can get that free oil. So I put it that way. And then I'm like, and if you can share with 2 friends a month, 2 friends, that's it. Your 100 PV order will always be covered. And most of them are like, 2? Really? That's it? And then also I am big on, I have a separate like business builders group, and I've done some trainings with them. And I was already kind of starting to structure the way Silver Bound Bonus is going right now. And so when people sign up, or if I do classes for them, I'm like, here, structured this way. Like I start them right away. So they're getting big checks like kind of quickly. And it ranks them up really quick. And I think as soon as they start to see that, and how easy it really can be, then they're like, okay, I can do this. And like I said, I try to stay super active in my group, and I try to make it seem like it's really easy. Like, I have makeup on and my hair done today, but 95% of the time in my lives, my hair is on top of my head and I got no makeup on. So my team sees the real me all the time. And so I think that helps as well, because I'm not acting like, you need to be professional and you need to be showing up in a suit and you need to do all this like every time. 90% of the time I'm in a hoodie. So, and I have no problem. Like, I am just as confident in my hoodie and my messy bun as I am dressed up. So when you make it easy,
yeah,
it's fine. Like, I signed up 2 girls in Texas this week, and I don't know them. They live in Texas. And I just, we set up a time to FaceTime so I could walk them through sign up. And I text them right before, and I was like, hey, no judging. I look like a hot mess. Let's be honest. We're all in quarantine. And they're like, oh, girl, me too. So it just like takes the like awkwardness away right away.
that's perfect. And I always say the sooner you can show your real self, the easier life gets. So just keep it real all of the time. Okay, you mentioned one thing in that last little bit about commission that caught some people's attention, and that was that the commission is increased by $15 when you help somebody get signed up on ER. So can you expand on that just a little bit?
So we get a $25 like bonus for signing up somebody with a premium starter kit. And then we get 25% of what they're ordering. So if they're just getting that premium starter kit, it's 100 PV, so you get 25%. That's an additional 25. And then if they put that kit on Essential Rewards, you get an additional 15. So it adds up real quick. $65 a person makes your checks quite a bit bigger.
That is awesome. Okay, I'm going to scroll back here and see. Okay, one other question. Sorry, these are coming in privately to me. One other question was, how many classes roughly did you do? Let's talk pre-quarantine and post-quarantine, because this is kind of different what we're in now. But momentum has not stopped, you guys. Not stopped at all. It's, mother is the necessity of invention. Is that the quote? Something like that. We just have to get creative and figure out how are we going to get people together now. So tell us about how many classes were you doing before?
So I have always tried to do at least 2 or 3 a month, just over the last year. And then when I was pushing for silver, okay, I'll back up. So I was aiming for Dream 1000 like hardcore. And so that made me structure a little bit differently. So I I would have hit silver last summer, but because I was structuring different to get people, because I needed more stars and more senior stars to get all those points, I structured a little bit differently. And I kept telling myself, I'm building for platinum. I always see the next rank when I'm building. I don't look at that current rank. And so when I was an executive, I was like, okay, I want to build for platinum. And 1, it helped my Dream 1000 points. And then 2, it just makes more sense to me. And so I tell all of my team, pick somebody to bless. I have built 2 of my legs pretty much myself. And I've put like 16 to 20 people under them myself. And I will be the enroller, and I just changed them to my sponsor. Yes, I get that enrollment bonus, but obviously after 3 months, like that sponsor is getting more than I am. And sometimes I level those down even a few people, like levels 3s and 4s. And so I'm only getting like 2% of some of those orders, but I'm 1, blessing somebody, and which makes my heart happy. And 2, it does help me in the long run. So it might not be paying off like right now, but it's going to pay off in the long run. And so I pick somebody that's a really good product user. And if they're buying every single month and they're consistently ordering 100 PV and or more, typically it's my orders that order more than that. And I just say, hey, I would love to get you some of those products paid for. Do you mind if I start to place a couple of people under you? And I always tell them, these are still my people. Do not feel like you have to do anything. Like you don't have to contact them. You don't have to do anything because they're still my responsibility. I still shared with them. I still enrolled them. But eventually you'll start to get a check and you'll start to get some of your products paid for. Now I've done this with 2 people in the last year, and they both were just like, yeah, sure, great. Well, as soon as I did that, and I pray about it too. I'm always like, okay, God, like I have a couple hundred people that I could choose. Like, let me know who I should go with. And so when I picked those 2 people, I then like presented it to them and that way, and they both were just like, okay. Well, in both circumstances, the second I put somebody under them, they enrolled somebody like that, where they've been members for like a couple years for some of them, and they never shared with anybody. And as soon as I did that, it just kind of pushed them in that direction. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. If they never share again, it's fine. And I don't get upset about that because I chose to bless them. If anything, it will be my PGV when I'm a diamond. So it's fine. But I just choose somebody to bless. You structure it that way. And like I said, Essential Rewards members, it's just another bonus of being on my team. So
I think that is so spot on. And while, you know, I'm looking at Bobby and Sonia's on here, I know when we got started, we knew nothing about structure, nothing. And it was just the nature of the business then. But as I have learned more, you know, throughout the past few years, we know that not only is it more sustainable for our own businesses, but what you said just resonates with me so much. You can pick someone to bless, and you can pour your belief and, you know, your business structure into them so that they can be rewarded for being a faithful product user. Like, it's such a win-win cycle. I absolutely love that. So
I just realized I didn't actually answer your question.
Okay, go back.
How many classes did I actually do? Okay, so I was doing 3 or 4 a month back then. And then when I was really aiming for silver in October, I was doing 3 or 4 a week.
Okay.
So, and I would call any of my downline and be like, hey, I want to come teach a class for you. You want to invite some friends? And I think I only got turned down like once or twice because they're like, I don't want to clean my house.
Yeah.
So, but I just did that. And with quarantine, like I won't lie, in March, I had like 8 classes booked and they all got canceled. And so at first I was like, darn it. But then I'm like, wait, we have social media. We can do this. And so I'm like, hey, we're going to still do that. I'm just going to change it to online. Now I did have 2 girls that are like, no, I want to wait till we can do it in person. Okay, that's fine. I'll respect that. But I just started going live a ton, like in events. Like I would make an event and I would share it to them, and then they would invite their friends, and then they would invite their friends, and I just do it that way. And then lately I've been making my events public, even if I'm doing it for one specific person, because then random people can see that and join. So like I just did a KidSense class for my Texas team. And I made that public because I knew some of my team from Iowa would want to watch that. And so even though I was sharing it for them, and like I knew the live comments would be from the girls in Texas, my team could still go watch that replay.
Nice.
So that is something. So I'm still doing, I'd say like 2 or 3 classes a week right now, because we're going to hit gold.
Yes. So. What's your goal? Which month?
This month.
All right. Yes. Good job.
Yes. I'm so close.
Good. Okay. So burden of responsibility now falls onto the 44 other people on this call besides Aubrey. I want you to be praying for her and cheering her on and just covering her in love and good wishes, because this is the beauty of Team Young Living, you guys. And I want to tell you a really quick story. I just had a guy reach out to me tonight that I met back in 2014 at a GoPro event in Las Vegas. And he just, you know, how this quarantine thing is making people sort of just check in. I'm sure they're like scrolling their contacts, like, hey, I haven't talked to you forever. How are you doing? But he still remembered when we hit Diamond in 2015. He's like, I still think about that. I remember your posts that you did on Facebook, and I remember your Facebook lives that you did. This guy, I mean, he's not in Young Living. He is now a blackjack dealer at some casino in Vegas, but we connected at this event, and he was just such a nice man, and he's gone through a lot. But I promise you guys, that the love that you throw on somebody when they are running for a goal, it comes back to you and it will warm your heart. So Aubrey, we are going to cheer you on like crazy, and you just have to remember to keep us posted.
I will.
Of your progress. So, okay, I don't know. Are there any more questions, you guys? Does anybody else? Aubrey, you did a phenomenal job covering a lot of stuff. Oh, Kayla wants to know, how can they follow you? What's the easiest way?
Well, that's here.
Oh, that's so perfect.
That's my Facebook group. It is public. I keep my Facebook group public because I have some awesome upline that all have private pages. And so that is one thing that I kind of advertise on my teams. Like when I enroll somebody, if they've been following me on social media, a lot of times people are like, I don't even know what to do. And I'm like, well, the benefit is my page is public. As soon as you become a member, I get to add you to like 4 or 5 member exclusive groups. And we all do post different like education, and you'll be set. And then they're like, oh, okay.
Perfect. So, that's a great idea. I love it.
So yeah,
okay.
All Oiled is OIL''D. I don't know if you can see that.
Yep.
I am on Instagram. I'll be honest, I'm not real good at it yet because that's not my jam. But I'm trying really hard because we can't go anywhere right now. So.
That's right. This is a good time to learn new tricks, right? Okay, I have 2 more questions that just came in here. The first one is, do you do vendor events?
So I've only done like 3, and 2 of them were like with my team members. It wasn't necessarily that I did it.
Okay.
I did do one this last November because I was trying really hard to hit silver. And so I did one in November, and it was actually really good.
Okay, excellent. Another question. This gal says, can you please ask Aubrey, what kind of conversations were you having with your new people when you began talking about wellness coaching? I think that she's interested to know, like, when does that idea enter the conversation? She says, I love the idea, but I'm curious what that looked like, or how you lead people to certain items versus others.
So most of my classes are on ridding toxins in your home.
Okay.
And I talk about like cleaners. And so typically I sign up people with the premium starter kit, which I think most people do. So when I'm talking to them about essential rewards, I'm like, well, I'm going to tell you right now, you want thieves cleaner. So we're just going to go ahead and add that. And so trust me, you're going to want it. And then I'm like, okay, tell me something else that you want to try. Typically I talk to a lot of mamas. And so the Kid Sense oils are a no-go. So or not a no-go, but like a for sure.
Yeah.
So I typically add thieves cleaner. And then I'm like, okay, you probably need some sniffles and some tummy dries. So there's your first order. It covers your 50 PV. And then after they enroll, I usually follow up with just in a few days let them kind of like check out the pages. I ask them if they have any questions. And then I say like, hey, I'd love to set up like a wellness plan with you. Like, when's a good time to chat? And so I'll either FaceTime them or I call them, or not in quarantine, but normally I would get like coffee or go to their house or whatever. And I try to invite as many people into my home as I can, because you saw my oil shelves. These are in my toy room, and this right here, this room is my dining room. So anybody that sits at my kitchen table sees all of my oils and they're like, oh my gosh, that's insane. And so that one is huge. They see that I have Thieves soap at my counter. Well, right now it's Christmas spirit, but because that stuff's amazing. So then they're like, oh geez, like you have this stuff everywhere. So then I start to sit down and be like, okay, well, what do you want to replace first? Like, make a list of everything in your home that eventually you're going to want to switch out. And then I say, give me your budget. Like, stay out of people's wallets. I tell myself that all the time. I have some people on my team, 2 girls specifically, that spend at least $500 a month, and they are not business builders. They are just product users, and they're not people that you would think that would do that. And so I always tell myself, stay out of people's pockets. So if they tell me that they want a premium starter kit and a Nature Red Essential Rewards kit today, okay, sounds good. That's great. So I'm never like, are you sure? Like, are you sure you want to do that? Because that would be a kind of a lot of money. If they say they want it, that's their pocket. I don't care if I know their financial situation or not, because I don't run their budget. So that is huge for me. So I say, give me your budget. Tell me how much you want to spend. I recommend at least 100 PV, so you can always get a free oil. And then I have them make a list, and we just go out. I'm like, okay, so this month you're going to order Thieves cleaner and dish soap. Next month, you are going to order the laundry soap and I'm big into makeup. I do a lot of savvy videos because I'm obsessed with the makeup. And so a lot of them are like, you have amazing skin. What are you using? 1, frankincense. I put it on my face every day. 2, I use the whole skincare line. And so then I will tell them like, okay, you should try the Orange Blossom moisturizer or the cleanser. And they're like, oh, okay. So people, I feel like, not everybody, now don't go tell a red what to do, but a lot of people like to be told what to do. And so when I put it that way, they just trust me because I've used the product. I have been a very big product user for several years. And then Nature Red, I push Nature Red quite a bit because that's something that they're going to need all the time. And I know how amazing it is. So once they're ordering that every single month, then I'm like, okay, well, if you get a box of packets, that's 87, add 1 oil and you're at 100 PV. And they're just like, oh, okay, that's easy. So you just got to make it simple and not overcomplicate things. Yeah. So I hope that was not too confusing.
I think that's awesome. Okay, couple more questions. They keep rolling in.
It's okay.
Number 1, is there any particular third-party tool that you use for like the health and wellness plan? So I don't know if you've seen the transfer buying sheet or something like that. What do you like? The Oily Life Guide. Okay, perfect. Will you tell everybody where that's from and what you like about it?
I get these on Life Science.
Okay.
It is from Megan Wright. I have this to send to a member that signed up today. So I love it because in the beginning, like when I sign them up, I do it. I don't want to go too close because it's got her member information, but it has member ID, their PIN, their login username, password, and then it will put like your enroller. And so I do that. And then on the second page, there's like online support places. And so I will fill this in and I will put like my Facebook group. I will put in like my uplines Facebook groups.
Nice.
And then I love this because it goes through like the kit. It has roller recipes. And then it even goes through diffuser recipes, like starter kit ones, and then it will say like member favorites. And it walks you through like a ton of the product. There's notes in here. It even talks about the business at the end, talks about little ones, like how to dilute for babies. I just love this. It did just go up in price. So I was like, oh, because I normally send this to everybody because I didn't have a bunch of builders that send stuff out. And so I just started doing this in the last year. I never sent anything to my team in the beginning, which terrible. Don't do what I did in the beginning. There was a reason I did not grow quickly. And so, but people that, and then I love Aaron Rodgers postcards. Love them. Hold on. I've got so many. Like, I have so many of her postcards. So I send those out to, I have the Diffuse the Starter Kit one, and I have Diffuse for Kiddos. That goes to every new member, one of the two. So if I don't know them, and if I don't know if they have kids, then I send them to Diffuse the Starter Kit. If I know they have children, I always send them the Diffuse the Kids one. And I just say like, welcome to our tribe. Like, so happy you're here. And then I will usually say like, so-and-so will be a great support for you, but always know you can come to me anytime. So those two things are a must. And then I just started sending out like full-on welcome letters. I'm all about handwritten, so that's why I like postcards. But the welcome letter tells them exactly like what to do if they sign up for Essential Rewards. And then I also make sure like they're plugged into my Facebook group, and because that's where I connect with, I'd say probably 80% of my people is just them watching like all my lives or my updates. I always open up my orders on Essential Rewards on live. We made homemade Play-Doh a couple weeks ago. I did that on live with my kids. So just stuff like that, like gets them included, I guess. So those are two things though that I always do to my team.
Awesome.
This thing's awesome. But it did go up in price. So I'm like, oh, should I send that to everybody?
No.
So
sometimes you have to make those hard business decisions.
Yes, it is hard. Yeah, it's worth it. It's worth it, but it is hard.
But I will say the investment that we can put into people on the early end is far greater return than if you wait and you try to catch them the month that they're about to go inactive. I would much rather pour twice as much money into it on the front end, get them well educated and get them connected. I think that's hands down the best way to do it. So
desk reference too. I push those pretty hard.
We have to.
Yeah. So I'd say majority of my new enrollments, like I just ordered 10 today or yesterday, I mean. And so, because I'm like, and they're sold. They're all sold.
Yep. I will tell you guys, I believe wholeheartedly that there is a direct correlation between the number of desk references that are sitting on your team members' coffee tables and your OGV. And if you want to see your OGV go up, you start getting on the phone or emailing or texting every single member and just saying, hey, do you have one of these books? I'm going to send you a picture. Because I kid you not, just by having it in your home, you are more likely to open the doggone thing and see what it is that you need. And when we quit talking about desk references for a while, I swear I can see my OGV go down. So we have to continually have that conversation. I've told this story 100 times, but when I was brand new and my desk reference lived around the corner and down the hill and her name was Sonia Swan, I would call Sonia and I would be like, Sonia, I got a hangnail. What oil do I use? And I kid you not, she would, this is not a desk reference, but this is what it sounded like on the phone. I don't know. Let me, oh, whoops, tripped on the cat. Oh, hang on, let me get the book. And I could literally hear her like very exaggeratedly turning the pages. Oh, here, on page 237. And I don't know if she was that exaggerated, but in my mind, I'm just like, oh my gosh, she was trying to teach me a lesson. that I needed to get my own book, and I did. And now I get lots of books. And just like you, Aubrey, as soon as they come in, they go out. But you've got to have them. I appreciate the fact that I can help my team members get their desk references at a far reduced price if I do the bulk buy, and then we can help them cut off, I don't know, 15, 20 bucks rather than them contacting Life Science and getting one just for themselves. So I don't care how long you've been in or how many team members you have, if you aren't in a financial position to do a bulk order, and I think the discount starts at 10. So it's not like you have to buy 50. I used to get 50 or 60 at a time. That was kind of crazy. Now I don't have anywhere to store them. So we're kind of backing it down. But truly.
And you can get payment first if you really can't afford it. Like first,
Exactly.
say like, hey, I'm taking orders.
Yes.
As soon as I get to 10, I'll order. Like I only need 2 more. Like who else wants one? And typically it fills my orders pretty quickly.
Yeah. So do that. Or if, like Aubrey said, she and 2 of her upline all live in the same town. Talk to the people that live close to you and do an order collaboratively and split it. I promise you that if you have those things in your house, they will go out of your house very quickly, and that will make your OGV rise. So, okay, Diane asked a question here. Do you sell the desk reference to a new member or do you gift it to them? I personally gift the small spiral bound desk reference. That is a gift to my personal enrollees. Okay, I don't do that for the whole team. I do not give away the big desk reference, but I do offer those. I let people know that I've got them, and so they can swing by and get them. They're kind of a beast to ship because they're large. So I like to keep those local. So wherever you are, if you've got a couple at your house, that sure helps people so they don't have to mail them out.
Yeah.
Aubrey, what about you? How do you handle?
I do not give those away. That would be really expensive. I only give away this Oily Life Guide and then the postcard.
Perfect. All right. Well, you guys are filled with amazing questions, and Aubrey, you have had so much valuable stuff to share tonight. I just want to say thank you so very much. And so hypothetically speaking, Aubrey, last question here. If there was someone, and there is, I'm sure, that is watching this Zoom that has yet to enroll their first person, and they're just kind of teetering on the edge, like, I don't know if I should step into this new arena or not, what would your advice be to them?
I tell everybody on my team that is kind of questioning about sharing, I'm like, how thankful are you that you have your kit? What product are you so thankful that somebody shared with you? Like I can't imagine my life without my oils. And so I usually like make it very personal with them. And if they're like, oh my gosh, I couldn't go a day without my peppermint. Okay, well, are you grateful that somebody shared that with you? Or are you like, gosh darn it, like how dare they? And typically then they're like, oh, okay. And just do it. Like I have a lot of my team, a lot of them are yellows. And so they're all like, I don't want to be salesy. And I literally look at them in the face and I say, then don't be. It's that easy. If you know your heart and you know you're not being salesy, if somebody takes that as salesy, that's not on you, that's on them. So if you don't want to be salesy, then don't be salesy and be genuine. If you're coming at somebody from a genuine place and you genuinely want to help them, they're gonna know. If you are coming at them because you're like, oh, I need $65 this month, I need to sign somebody up, they're gonna know. And so if you are coming at them genuinely, they're gonna know that.
That is amazing. And that's probably the best advice ever. If you don't want to be salesy, don't.
Right.
You have the
It
ability.
really is that simple.
You each have the ability to turn that filter off.
Mm-hmm.
So and Bobby is in so many trainings that I have done with her, has the most beautiful closing about, would you go a day without your oils? Would you go an hour without your oils? And then just very simply, the only way we hear about this is if we tell someone.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we each heard about it. And it is just a shame if we withhold that opportunity from everybody else that's around us. And yes, oh my gosh, Aubrey, we all have brothers that haven't enrolled. I do too. And you know what? It's okay, because everybody in their own time. That's my motto. And when we have ears to hear and eyes to see, they will know who to come to. So that's why we can't live quietly. We have to live out loud. We have to put our soap proudly by the sink where everybody will see it, and hang our oils on the wall, because when the time comes, they need to know, who do I go to? So we don't want to be closet users forever.
I will say, if you are sharing on social media, especially if you are in your public page, if you don't have a Facebook group for oils or a page, if you are just sharing on your personal page, do not ever say, contact me if you're interested, because that instantly says sales. And we're all like, no, nope, don't want it. Now I post stuff all the time of my diffuser recipe. I'll just take a picture of my diffuser. That's it. Or I'll take, this morning on my story, I just put a picture of my smoothie or my shake. I had a pure protein shake, and I just put it in there and was like, daily shot of protein. And that's it. I had a ton of people liking and hearting it. And same with other things. I'll post random pictures of stuff, and I never one time say, if you're interested, contact me. But I almost always have one or two people be like, okay, what is it? I want to know. And so it just piques people's curiosity. Because if the relationship is there and they trust you, then they will come to you if they're interested. As soon as you say, contact me, their guard is up, and you are going to be the last person they contact.
Amen to that. And what I just typed in the chat box is that it's our goal to create two things: curiosity and community. And you want people to follow you because you're interesting. And how interesting is it if you are just a 24/7 billboard for Young Living? I would even get tired of that, because I like to follow people that are well-rounded people, and they do different things. They like to fish, and they like to build snowmen, and they like to grow things in a garden, and whatever, travel and whatever. And then, oh, by the way, I also like this, this oil or this product. That to me creates a little bit more curiosity and makes us look more complete as humans. So anyway, I just think you are spot on, and what a fantastic leader you are for your team. Everybody that is here, that is on your team, you are blessed beyond measure, because I know the rest of the people that are in your upline, and you got a good thing going. So
thank you. I have a good upline to look up to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I don't think we should keep Aubrey any longer, because it is 9 o'clock. She probably has an online class that's starting here in a few minutes, and time is ticking, because tonight is the 9th and we're going to hit gold. I'm just going to call it. I think it's going to happen at least by the 27th.
Hey, we already have 9 new members this month, and it's only the 9th. So one per day. We got this.
That is such a fun track record to check.
Yes.
Yes. Well, carry on, and thank you. Any final words, Aubrey? I don't want to cut you off.
No. I would just say, make sure to celebrate your team. So you got to celebrate them too. Like, yes, I'm going for gold, and you better believe I'll be dancing. Like, I won't lie, when I saw my name on that screen, because I was so thrown off by it, I screamed, and my husband was like, "Oh my gosh, what's wrong?" And I'm like, "My name's on the screen!" I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" So that was really exciting. But we have to celebrate. Like, I celebrate everything. Like, as soon as somebody shares with their first friend, I welcome them to our page, and then I say, like, "Congrats to you, like, so-and-so, they just shared for the very first time." So every little thing, I always share. So people
Excellent
like to be
advice.
recognized.
I love it. They do. So go find somebody on your team to recognize, friends, for
Yeah.
whatever reason, and go celebrate them, because they will love that. So thank you so much, everybody. We appreciate having you here.
Thank you. Have a good night.